A Chasid befriends a lost soul. Thus it came about that Eliezer Reuven often noticed that when his old neighbor, the strangely uncouth Zevulun Binyamin, came along, Yitzchak Shaul would invariably put aside his Gemara and give him a welcoming smile. Everybody in Dabra Mizl regarded Zevulun Binyamin as the ignoramus he was in fact. They therefore believed they were absolutely within their rights in poking fun at him if they felt like it. Even Eliezer Reuven saw nothing wrong in his two older sons-in-law having a joke at his expense whenever Zevulun Binyamin called at the smithy. Zevulun Binyamin was an expert veterinarian and in addition earned his living by skinning the carcasses of animals. Maybe it was because of what people considered his low calling that no one ever showed him any attention or interest other than to have a laugh over his crude appearance or simplicity. The veterinarian recognized his own appalling ignorance and what an object of contempt he was in the eyes of all his fellow Jews. It was due to the fact that he could no longer bear to be so ridiculed that he and his wife and children left the small town in which they lived and moved to Dabra Mizl, where they were fortunate enough to become friends and neighbors with the good-hearted smith Eliezer Reuven. Zevulun Binyamin well remembered how he used to be called to the Torah but once a year, which was on Simchas Torah, when he joined the young boys in the Aliyah of Kol Hana'arim. He would then hide behind some adults so that he would be as inconspicuous as possible, and when he had to recite the bracha, he would repeat it after the others. Of course, all the youngsters thought it was very funny and just roared with laughter, and many of the grown-ups too, who should have had more sense and some regard for the feelings of the unfortunate Jew, joined in the hilarity. If Zevulun Binyamin had not felt it to be the duty of every Jew to be called to the Torah at least once a year, he simply could not have found enough courage to go through the terrible ordeal of publicly facing the congregation. But it was not in the shul alone that people found an opportunity of making fun of poor Zevulun Binyamin. He no sooner entered the merchatz than a peal of merriment rippled through the place. The poor fellow literally writhed in discomfort and unhappiness, but he knew of no way to alter matters. He thought that the only course open to him at this stage was to become resigned to his unenviable position. As has been stated, the only exception thus far had been Eliezer Reuven the smith, but now, wonder of wonders, a brilliant young man, a Torah student, was making a friend of him. He could hardly realize the enormity of his good fortune. The more he thought about it, the greater was his appreciation and gratitude to this warm-hearted individual who could make him feel that he too was a person of value to the community. Yitzchak Shaul always made a point of showing this poor, much-abused fellow particular friendliness. He would ask him to sit down and talk to him. He would ask after his family and encourage him to tell him of his problems.